Welcome back, Coaster fans. In this video, I'll be giving basically my top 10 throughout the whole entire world roller coasters that I am really excited for the 2021 season. Of course, this is in January. None of these rides have officially opened, but there are a few that I would love to give a little bit of a shout out. I narrowed it down to 10. Honestly, the first five, or so basically 6 through 10, I'm excited for them, but I'm not really that intrigued by, if that makes any sense. And that was kind of a hard part to do. And then 1 through 5 was hard for me to do because I honestly want to ride all 5 of those coasters, and they look phenomenal. But anyway, this is just my opinion. Most of the rankings, especially 6 through 10, really have no particular order. I'll give my reasoning behind why I put them in that direction. But anyway, again, this is my personal opinions and rankings of my most anticipated to my least anticipated. And there are about 161 different coasters coming out for 2021. So, of course, I'm not going to do 161 coasters, plus most of them don't even have a name or layout or any pictures really to testify. But also, if you guys would like this video, also subscribe to the channel. That would be fantastic, and leave a like and also a comment. That would also help a lot. Okay, anyway, let's get into this video. Starting off at number 10 is Leviathan, a gravity group wood coaster at SeaWorld, Australia. Of course, this park is not associated with the SeaWorld Corporation, with Busch Gardens and SeaWorld Orlando, but nevertheless, this ride looks really, really cool. And of course, this ride is in Australia. Of course, and it's going to be a gravity group. And I've run a few gravity groups like Voyage and Mind Blower, and those rides are really good. And I mean, it's not going to be nearly as big as Voyage. It's only going to be about 98 feet tall from my understanding, but still, it looks like a phenomenal ride. The head of the train looks really cool, that sea serpent type look. Overall, especially the area that this ride is going to be in, looks beautiful from the renderings I've seen and a few pictures I've also seen from the ride progress. But anyway, this ride is definitely on my radar of definitely top 10 worthy in 2021. And also, you can't forget about the backwards facing train for this ride. Of course, in Australian fashion, you gotta have a backwards facing train. But anyway, this ride looks really good for the section it's going in, and I honestly think it's going to be a really good fit for SeaWorld Australia. But yeah, overall, this ride looks pretty chill compared to the other rides we will be getting to later on in this list. But yeah, this is number 10. Number 9 is Icebreaker at SeaWorld Orlando. This ride looks good. I'm hesitating because I just don't know where to put this. It looks like a phenomenal ride, but at the same time, though, I just don't know how I'll feel about it because, of course, this is SeaWorld's first, besides Journey to Atlantis, non-B&M roller coaster. And they're staying this as a family ride. This thing looks like a thrill ride mixed in with a family ride, but I guess just because of the label of it being a family ride, I just don't know where to really put it. But at number 9, I'm really skeptical. I really want to put it up higher, but I just can't, just because I don't know if it's going to be a big disappointment or not. Hopefully it's not. The layout looks really good, and of course I love SeaWorld, so they're going to do phenomenal with the theming of this attraction. And also the front of the trains look great. It literally looks like you're breaking into ice. So yeah, this ride, the color scheme looks beautiful. Overall, this ride looks beautiful. It's just I don't know how the ride experience is going to be, and I don't want to overhype it for myself. Of course, it's not going to be as good as Still Vengeance or Sky Rush or El Toro. But I think it'd be a great coaster for SeaWorld. Just don't know exactly how I'm personally going to like it. Number 8 is another SeaWorld roller coaster. This is Emperor at SeaWorld San Diego. I'm very intrigued with this roller coaster. It's the first small-scale B&M dive coaster that we've gotten in America. Small-scale dive coasters are normally under 200 feet. Basically, all of the dive coasters that we have, Yukon, Valraven, Griffin, SheiKra, are all 200 feet and above. And I absolutely love SheiKra. I love Griffin, and I like Valraven. So I'm just intrigued on a smaller scale how this ride would go. Plus, also, this has a zero-G roll, and honestly, I'm kind of a sucker for those corkscrew zero-G roll type maneuvers on dive coasters. I love the one on Valraven. Honestly, I think that's probably one of the best parts of the ride, if not the first drop, which definitely gives it more of a complete ride, in my opinion. So just overall, I'm just really intrigued on how this thing is going to ride. Of course, I'm not going to hype it too much just because it is a dive coaster. But overall, I think it would be a really great addition to SeaWorld San Diego. I don't want to overhype it too much, but I personally think this might be number 1 at the park. Not too sure. Manta looks pretty good itself. But it's going to be a really close battle, like with Busch Gardens Tampa at the moment, with Montu and Kumba. This could be a lot of people's number 1 at the park. And it could be in between Manta and Emperor. So it's good to see that SeaWorld San Diego is improving their park lineup, and I can't wait for the future for this park. Number 7 is Abyssus at Energylandia. This ride honestly looks so good. It is a Vekoma coaster, which is kind of interesting how we have a Vekoma on this list. But if it wasn't for the layback of a few 2020 projects, this honestly would be a lot higher on my list of really intriguing coasters that I would love to ride. This ride is going to be their 17th or 18th coaster. I can't remember exactly where it's ranking in that. So just comment down below if you know how many coasters Energylandia has with Abyssus. I've heard like a few different numbers because they could be opening their kid coaster first before it, and it's just really confusing. But anyway, this ride, on top of them adding more and more roller coasters, has some pretty decent theming, and I'm interested to see if they have that fog aspect to it when you're going through that Batwing and a few other things. And I also really like the Atlantis theme. I'm always a sucker for Greek mythology and Atlanta theming. That's why I like Journey to Atlantis so much with that theming at SeaWorld Orlando. And also the reason why Leviathan's on this list from Australia. But I'm just intrigued to have the reviews of this ride. Obviously, it's not going to be the best in the park when you have Zadra and your other coasters in the park. I totally forgot the name. It'll come to me later. But the massive Intamin hyper coaster at Energylandia. But anyway, I think this would be a good number 3 at the park, maybe. But yeah, that's it for number 7. Number 6 is another roller coaster from Australia at Dreamworld. This is still tarpon. And if I am correct, comment down below for those people from Australia, or if you know. Tarpons are a snake native to Australia, and honestly, I've been always wanting to have a ride named after a tarpon. And I just find it amazing that they're actually doing this. On top of that, this is a Blue Fire clone, but with a twist. So it looks like they're going to have a multi-launch for this. We're going to go back and forth on the launch track before you get to that full official speed and go throughout the ride. On top of that, they are putting a spinning back car on this ride. Of course, you're going to have to pay extra, but overall, this ride looks really cool. Really intrigued to see the popularity of this ride, and Mac continue building roller coasters in Australia, because this is about the second or third Mac coaster with DC rivals in Australia, and I'm just really intrigued to see what else Australia and Mac can come up with. Number 5 is New Jersey Devil Coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure. I have seen this thing in person, and it's really cool. It's going to be the tallest, longest, and fastest single rail coaster in the world when it opens next year. And also, I dig mythology, so obviously putting a Jersey Devil themed ride at a New Jersey theme park was just so fitting, and I've actually been thinking about like if they would ever actually come up with a New Jersey Devil themed coaster, and I'm just so happy that they did. The trains look phenomenal. I love the trains. Or everything I could have honestly wished for this coaster. Of course, this isn't going to have much theming in the queue. I hope they have some, at least, signs and stuff, getting into the whole mythology of the Jersey Devil itself, but I don't think just because it is Six Flags. Hopefully they will, but not expecting anything too much. And also the colors on this coaster are so cool, with the red track and the black supports. It's just really eye-popping, and it really gets you thinking, wow, this thing is going to be really cool. Of course, I've never ridden a single rail coaster, so from what I've heard, they're amazing. So I'm expecting this, but on a larger scale of Wonder Woman and Railblazer. But overall, I'm just really excited for this coaster. And this cracks our top 5. Number 4 is Pantheon at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. This roller coaster has very much intrigued me. It is the first fast switch track roller coaster. Well, I guess the second, if you want to count Hagrid's as the first fast track switch track coaster. But overall, this ride looks really, really cool. The hype around it has definitely fallen out since we got the POV of Ironwazi and Conda and Velocicoaster, but I feel like this is definitely going to be a sleeper hit for most people. I haven't ranked it 4, but honestly, I feel like it's going to be a lot higher than that when I get to ride it. And overall, I just think this ride looks really cool. If you guys have been to Busch Gardens Williamsburg, they do really good with their theming. So I wouldn't expect too much non-theming from this ride, and I'm hoping for some like Greek temples and stuff, pillars and all that, since this is, or Roman temple pillars and all that, because this is in the Festa Italia section of the park, next to Apollo's Chariot and Tempesto. So I'm pretty excited for this ride, and hopefully it's alright sometime real soon. Number 3 is Ironwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa. This ride is in the original location of Gwazi, which was their GCI dueling coaster. And so I've been waiting for this ride since Gwazi closed in 2015. It's been about 6 years. I wouldn't say I'm extraordinarily hyped, but I wouldn't say I'm underhyped either. I kind of have my expectations low. That's the reason why I have it lower than the next 2 coasters on this list. And obviously, you guys know I'm going to be out to ride this thing. I have a season pass to Busch Gardens, Tampa. I will 100% be down to ride Ironwazi. I'm really, really honestly excited for this ride because there's going to be so much familiarity from the original Gwazi, from the station to the MQ. I'm just really overall excited to experience this ride, and of course it's an RMC. None of the RMCs are really blowing me away. The only one really is being Twisted Cyclone, even though that's really dropped out of my rankings as of late. But overall, this is going to have a special place in my heart, and I really hope this is one of the first coasters I get to ride for this season. Maybe not, maybe so. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah. Number 2 on our list is Velocicoaster, which is at Islands of Adventure in Universal Studios Orlando. So, for this ride, and why it's really hyped up for me, I'm a massive nerd when it comes down to the Jurassic Park franchise. I love Jurassic Park with a burning passion. I have all the movies in VHS and DVD. Call me a geek. I also have them also downloaded on my computer. Overkill, I know. So I basically bought the movies like 3+ times just so I can have them on the internet, so I can just watch them off YouTube. But anyway, getting to the coaster, this ride looks amazing. The pacing does look like it has a bit of an issue. But honestly, the trains kind of remind me of some of the, I wouldn't say older Intamins, but a little bit of the older Intamins, kind of like Intimidator 305. But this is probably going to be the longest train for a Blitz coaster. And people are calling Pantheon also a Blitz coaster. And it has like a similar train design. So I'm just really intrigued how Pantheon and Velocicoaster are both going to run, because they are the newer high-capacity Intamin Blitz coasters, even though I personally would not call them a Blitz coaster. But that's for a whole different topic on a whole different other video. But overall, this ride, I've been looking forward for this ride for a while. The Zero or G roll or Heartline roll, whatever you want to call it, over the lagoon in front of the pathway looks amazing. The overbank turns and the stall looks really good too. Overall, this ride just looks phenomenal, and I cannot wait to experience this, hopefully within the next year or so. Number 1, which shouldn't really be that big of a shock, is Conda at Walibi, Belgium. This ride looks phenomenal. I love the theming for the front of the train. It looks so good. Overall, this is probably one of my favorite trains I've ever seen in my life. Really excited to ride this. Hopefully coming within the next 5 years or so. Fingers crossed on that. But overall, this ride just looks so good. It has so many different airtime moments. I love myself a good Intamin. So, I mean, they also throw in the things that RMC has been doing with an overbank turn and stuff. They also have a non-inverting Cobra roll, which that thing looks so crazy with the amount of steel, which isn't that much steel. Also, gotta appreciate how it doesn't have that much supports, so it's also a lot cheaper for the park to build. I've heard that it's around $15 million just for the ride, not counting with shipping or anything. And that's pretty cheap compared to what you normally hear about Intamin being really expensive. So I'm just intrigued. Hopefully this might kickstart some US perks with Pantheon and Velocicoaster obviously included. We'll start kickstarting a renaissance in America for Intamin. Hopefully, maybe not. But anyway, this is the end of the video, with Conda being my #1 most anticipated roller coaster for 2021. But anyway, if you guys could, leave a like, leave a comment. Also, please subscribe. That really does help this channel out. And we'll see you guys out in the queues.